Ruth McCrackin, notch career and business strategists are here to help you defy standards and break boundaries. Join them as they share powerful insights that have already impacted thousands of people and will have a major impact on your career, life balance, and business.
Hello, hello. Great day, everybody. Great day it is. Happy Friday, everyone. Hey, Trisetta. Hey,
Good
girl.
morning.
How's everything going? Listen, it's an amazing day. Indeed, it is. And
Yes, it
really
is.
looking forward. Let us know where you all are coming in from. And as we're coming in here and breaking boundaries, we have now officially, listen, we've been sitting here just kind of allowing ourselves the opportunities to share what we got to expose to you all. But wow, before we do that, you want to go ahead. I definitely want to encourage you, if you will, to grab your pen and papers, share, subscribe, follow us. If this is your first time coming in, definitely learn more about us as well. We are here in Breaking Boundaries. We want to be able to exemplify the meaning of releasing yourself from bondages, giving yourself the grace and opportunity to leverage your voice. And today's topic, if we're going to just jump right on in, you with me, Tristan? I think we could just jump right on in. What you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
The topic of the day is, I know that we're in a season where I love the holidays, don't get me wrong. And however, on the other spectrum, oftentimes people, whether it be in your career, your business, or even in life, it may bring in a daunting or eerie type of emotion or energy. So the topic we want to share with you is, how do you maybe rising strong? How do you stay still? How do you be able to embrace certain emotions? So rising strong, navigating crisis with confidence and resilience. I'm super excited. I don't know about you all. I'm really excited today. And we want to help you by diving in, because this topic resonates with me too the most as well, because I lost my favorite auntie back in 2019, right before COVID. And it was right in the middle of December, and having to after knowing that we were getting all warmed up and ready to go for the holidays, and boom, here we are now having to coordinate a farewell journey. How many of you all can definitely understand that sometimes crisis? How do you manage that? How do you explore ways to still be able to keep your sanity and still be able to fulfill your day to day and not lose sight and find yourself in a slumber? It's okay to be in a slumber. The question you want to ask yourself is, how long you want to be in a slumber, right? How long? How long do you all want to be in it? So we want to help you all in how to be able to manage through crisis and resilience, how to explore different strategies, and most importantly, building resilience in the midst of it and turning failures into really great opportunities for what? Growth.
Yes.
So let's just dive on in. Let's go ahead and talk about what is the first thing we want to dive and share with you all. Oftentimes, and Trisetta, if you want to go ahead and kind of enforce, why is it important? Why does it matter? And why is it that we're even wanting to project this in this season and this period as well?
Well, one of the things that, just like you were talking about how, there's a loss of a loved one that's taken place
Yes.
during the holidays or this time of year, or it doesn't even necessarily need to be this time of year, any time of the year, right? When crisis
Mm,
hits,
I-
when
yeah.
anything that is unexpected, some sort of unexpected challenge
Unexpected.
hits,
Yes.
Um, it can really throw you off your rocker, right? Like it can really throw you off course. And if you
Yes.
don't know, if you don't have strategies, if you don't have techniques that you can
Hmm.
employ to help you maintain course, and we're not talking about sweeping things under the rug and not dealing with whatever the
Mm-mm.
crisis is. We're just talking
Yes.
about, being confident that you're going to be able to still perform and get things done
Exactly.
in the midst of handling the things that you need to handle on the challenge or crisis side, right? And so
Yes.
there's three main things that you can really do to build confidence so that you are able to kind of navigate the unknown that lies ahead when it comes to challenges. And the very first one
Yes.
shouldn't be a surprise to you, because we talk about this a lot, but it's shifting your mindset, right? So
Ooh.
having a shift in your mindset from
Yes.
being reactionary to being proactive is going to be crucial. You want to adopt this mindset of being proactive and solution oriented rather
Yes.
than being reactionary. What do I mean by this? For example, during recently, I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast, but I've been caring for my father who has
Okay.
dementia, and he progressed to a point where it was just too much for me to
Yeah.
handle on my own.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
I started working on ways to get him transitioned into a facility that would be able to provide him the care that he needed. At the
Sure.
same time, still having to deal with the day to day of managing him and the challenges that come along with caring for someone who is memory challenged, right?
Yes.
And there were many days when, I didn't always get it perfect because there were days
We're
when,
not perfect. Number
right,
one.
when it overwhelmed me, right? When it overwhelmed
Yes.
me and I didn't respond in the way that I would have liked to. I reacted
Oh
and I
my
didn't
gosh.
respond.
Yeah.
And so I started coming up with things that I could do, strategies for when things happened. Like,
Hmm.
how will I handle when he asked me the same question,
Yeah.
for the 500th time? Or I know that
Right.
if I know that something, an answer or something is going to upset him, how do I present it? Let me make sure
Yes.
that I present it in a way that sounds upbeat and peppy so it's a little bit more palatable for him to receive, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
being solution focused can really help to making that mindset shift to being more solution focused can really help you to overcome and not create more challenges and also be more resilient in the process of that.
I like that. I like how you're wanting to let people know, like let them, because for those who are listening and watching, I'm pretty sure you probably can relate to this story as far as taking care of someone, an elderly relative or someone close in the whole that holds the strings of your heart very dear, and you want to make sure that you're pushing them in the right direction and providing them support. Which brings me up to, how do you prepare for that? How do you definitely leverage building a support network? Are you finding yourself doing this alone when you're going through managing crisis and still be able to maintain your sanity? How do you cultivate a tight inner circle where you don't feel like you're losing your femininity or your female way of nurturing, or even your masculinity, where are you being man enough? Are you being bold enough? Are you positioning yourself where your brain is then pointing you to still be impactful at work, where you still be able to create a plan while you're still be able to show up, perform in a way that it's now making it to where you don't feel like, is it even worth it? Isn't it even worth putting these things? So sharing your goals and, again, leveraging your voice, and also bringing in other people that you can trust, that you can regularly communicate with. Share with them and seek advice sometimes. And I'm pretty sure, Chisetta, you didn't do this alone. It takes time for us to identify and invite others into our inner circle that we feel comfortable. And it may not be it may not be a comfortable situation, but knowing that you have the proper resources and the proper way of having a strong channel of network can also help provide valuable perspectives, and also be able to share some unforeseen challenges that they may be able to relate with, because they may be able to more likely see it in a different lens than you can. And so another way you can also kind of navigate through challenges and be able to develop a strong way of preparing through these unforeseen situations or scenarios. Another way is preparing this. How do you do that? Continuous learning and skill development. I often tell the people that I work and come across with, when it comes to professional development, when they're finding themselves burned out and in a position where they may have now been transitioning and having a different leader, oftentimes now you may have that fear. And I can relate to, I have known how it is to be transitioned from a different manager. And now you're having to, what do I do? You've been accustomed to doing certain things, and now they're coming in with their way of managing, or how to adapt to a different environment. Now you're wanting to know, well, what ways can maybe I can adapt to different management styles. Maybe your prior manager was more allowing you to be independent, and they maybe interact and engage with you on a frequently basis. And now you feel kind of silo when you're like, I was accustomed to someone, doing weekly meetings and maybe 5-minute touch points. Some people don't like that. Some people do. And now you may be involved with a manager who may not be involved and maybe not be more engaging, to where now when something do occur, like a restructure, you're kind of taken back. And now how do you involve and how do you know this? But engaging on ongoing learning opportunities will help you bridge the gap on maybe going back and learning how to study more on communications. Sometimes you shouldn't. I do believe in not waiting for someone else to, like Trisetta mentioned, being more proactive instead of waiting for your managers to say, "Hey, let's go ahead and have a powwow meeting." How about you inserting, "Hey, I just want to touch base with you, letting you know what's been on my plate, and want to share with you what maybe some upcoming schedules or upcoming planning that I may have, and I definitely want to make sure that it aligns with what you may have, and you can tell me whether or not we're going to need more resources." You see how involving and maybe learning how to adapt, but also being more proactive, and the approach of being accustomed to one management style, and then now it's kind of bringing you out of character, bringing you out to where you're now building a different type of character within yourself. And what else do you think? Because I know when it's dealing with crisis or even change, like you mentioned, it could happen anywhere periodically throughout the year. I only mention holidays because oftentimes this is a time where the energy and the vibration, not only in the workplace, but also in your life, can definitely take a shift in a detour. So we want to be able to know, how do you adapt? How do you even boost your confidence in the midst of this journey or this path that you're now entering into? Let's talk about that. Let's go ahead and enter into what ways they can be able to build and maintain a composure during sensitive moments and crisis that they may find to be a bit more impactful than normal for them. What ways
Yeah.
can they be able to,
Yeah,
overcome that?
for many of us, we are creatures of habit, right? We like routine,
Yes,
and
yes,
we don't necessarily take too well to change, right? So
exactly.
if you can really start to, well, one, embrace the fact that nothing remains the same.
Nothing.
Nothing, change is inevitable. I don't remember whose quote that is, but change is inevitable,
It
right? And
is. It
so
is.
it's important for us to really adopt this
Yeah.
position of adaptability so
Yeah.
that when things happen, you can kind of pivot, you can kind of shift on on a dime. A really great example of this is when COVID hit a few years
Mhm.
ago, and how the entire world had to make a
Oh my
shift, both
gosh.
in the workplace, education, like every aspect of our lives. And so
Every
we got a lot of practice at being flexible and being adaptable during that time period, because we didn't have any choice to, because everything
no
around us was
choice.
in flux, right? So if you can hold on to a little bit of that adaptability that you had during that time period and apply it to everyday change, you will
I like
be
that.
so much more you will be so much more calm and present as things are happening, as crisis hits, or as you're facing these unexpected challenges, right?
Exactly. I like that. I like it
And
100%.
so that's by doing that, you can be much more resilient, and it's important to be able to maintain your composure, because when you fly off the handle, you're expending energy that is unproductive, right? You putting your energy towards something that is not shifting or changing the situation. It's expending energy,
105%.
but
Yeah.
it's not changing anything. And so it's really resilience is going to be key to being able to weather all these storms. But how do I build it, right? Like you're like, Chisetta, Ruth,
Right.
how
How do
do
you
I
practice
build
that?
that
Yes.
resilience? How can I actually maintain my composure when
Yes.
things are getting a little difficult? You know what? I
Let's
am
talk
so
about
glad
that.
you asked.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yes, girl.
I'm so glad you asked. And I am big on definitions. I'm big on what words mean. So let's first
Yes.
define what resilience means. I know we all have a general understanding, but let's go ahead and define that. Resilience is essentially the ability to be able to bounce back, right? To bounce
Yes.
back, to be
Yes.
able to adapt, to be able to recover quickly from adversity, challenges, and setbacks in life,
Oh, I
right?
like that.
What it really involves is this capacity
Mhm.
within us to be able to stand fast and to be able to navigate when difficult circumstances happen, at the same time maintaining your mental, your
Mm.
emotional,
Come on.
and physical well-being. Because what's the first
Wow.
thing that we do when stress hits, when difficult situations, we stop, we might not be able to sleep, we might stop eating, or
Yes.
we might do emotional eating. We stop
Right.
being, we maybe we stop exercising. We
Yeah.
The things that really help us to be whole, well balanced individuals, we start, those things start getting out of whack because we want to do something that comforts us, right? So people who are resilient, and organizations as well who are resilient, are able to effectively cope with stress, overcome those obstacles, and emerge from them
Exactly.
stronger than they were before they entered into that difficult
That's
experience, right?
good.
So you
Mhm.
want to make sure you're hitting those key areas: your emotional, your mental, and physical well-being, as well as professional,
That's
during
true.
during situations that are a little bit more challenging.
I like how you mentioned that, and I know we've kind of went through quite a bit. And Trisetta, you just mentioned a huge standing point, which now we want to help you all practice it. How do you now incorporate? How do you weave it in? How do you then, say, well, all this sounds great, Ruth, but when you're in the midst of the crisis, when you're in the midst of the storm, how you then call yourself channeling in the positive and the optimistic way of being and thinking. Like, how do you focus on certain ways of shifting the situation so that you can be finding that bliss, so you can now be influenced to now be able to sustain and control it, not to suppress it. You want to embrace it, yes. Now, how do you do this? Let's talk about one of the areas that you can incorporate this strategy. Number one, we want to help you engage, and we talk about it throughout the times of breaking boundaries quite a bit in terms of gratitude. I know there's a lot of people that I know that I talk to on an ongoing basis. Gratitude, it can be challenging in the beginning. It might feel, it's like, it doesn't. It may sound. It may feel or even feel or act superficial. So gratitude practicing could be very. You can start very small, such as keeping a gratitude journal. You don't necessarily have to verbalize it to someone else if you're not there yet to say thank you. If they're maybe opening the door or perhaps decided to go ahead and treat you on a coffee, or go ahead and it was supposed to be a Dutch dinner, but now they said, no, I got you on this one. You don't have to pay the tab. And sometimes it just may be, you may be the person that may not find that to be a way to verbalize it. Then write it down. Another way is, how do you challenge negative thoughts? You and I know that, how many did they say recordedly? I think it now went from being 40,000 to 70,000. I'm not surprised if it's at 200,000 on how many the words that we deposit daily, that's more on negative thinking, that more on, instead of thinking more negative. And then that's just the natural human being part of us. But now you can be intentional, yes. And how do you start speaking and thinking more positive perspective way versus yielding? For example, my clients, when they're saying, Ruth, I don't know if the job, when they're wanting to, seek guidance and seek support, they're kind of sharing with me some of their obstacles of what they're looking to overcome, where they've been in their current role for maybe 15, 20 years as a VP or senior management. And for whatever reason, it's like, am I behind the eight ball? Why am I finding it to be challenged? Maybe I'm underqualified. Maybe I'm just not presenting myself in a way where I don't know to be true that I'm marketing myself in the day and time that we are living in. So all of this is negative thinking, perception. How do you reframe that? How do you be more positive in perspective? Surround yourself with positive influences. Look at what other thought leaders who are in your role, or who are perhaps pivot in the role that you're looking to be aspired to be in. Somehow they got there by what? Maybe they went through reading, maybe through certain private groups or mentors, or even viewing certain media. Study those that around you that you're maybe wanting to project as well. And then what else can they do to kind of give them the way of actually implementing this and removing some of the deficit or the illness when it comes around being in the journey while you're trying to sustain a mind of positivity?
Well, one thing is to really develop some healthy coping
Yes.
mechanisms, right? So I talked about a little bit ago about how sometimes we will slip into emotional eating, or maybe
Yes.
maybe spending,
Mhm.
um,
Oh my gosh. Yes.
right, like doing retail therapy and things of that
Yes.
nature, things that aren't necessarily healthy for us. So, but you want healthy coping mechanisms.
Yes.
So you got
Absolutely.
to figure out, like, what are things that are healthy for you that are going to help you to manage your stress and overcome that adversity, right? So that could be um any type of activity that promotes relaxation and well-being. It could be seeking support from um, people in your community, whether it's friends or family,
I
or
know.
in the workplace, depending upon where, where the challenge is coming from. Um,
Yes.
we a few episodes ago we talked about problem solving confidence, and we went through some different
Yes.
techniques that you can use
Huge stuff. Yes.
for effective problem solving, right? So these are things that you can really use to help you cope in a healthy way. So how do you implement
Absolutely.
this? So one, learn and practice techniques that reduce stress, like deep breathing, meditation,
Yes.
mindfulness, the gratitude, practicing gratitude. Those are things that can help to reduce your stress. You also
Absolutely.
want to establish a network of friends, family members, or colleagues that serve as your support system. These are people that
Indeed.
you know that you can go to and share your thoughts and your feelings with, without judgment and um without being made to feel like you're less, uncomfortable
I
for
couldn't
being
agree with you
vulnerable,
more. A
you
thousand
know,
percent. Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
That's it's important to have those safe places. And it and you may be saying, like, well, Trissetta, how do I, like, why do I need that at work? Well, because there are some situations, some
Yes.
scenarios that happen in the workplace that your friends and family members may not be able to relate to. So
Come
having
on.
kind of a
Let's
work
talk about
bestie, right? Or a
yes.
mentor that you can go to within your organization, or within that type, or within the industry, that can really identify and relate to some of the challenges that you're facing in the workplace, right?
Yes.
And then also break down these challenges into smaller bite-sized pieces,
Mm,
and just
I
and
like
then
that.
do those small bites at a time. It can be
Yes.
very overwhelming. I just talked about how I'm transitioning my dad, and now I'm having to, he's lived in this house for 22 years,
Oh
and
my gosh.
doesn't really throw much away. And so now I'm having the daunting task of emptying his home, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just, I'm going room by room, instead of sitting here going like, oh my God, I've got to get all this stuff out of dad's house. No, I'm
Yes.
going through, okay, well, you know what? Today I'm going to tackle the china cabinet, or today I'm going to tackle the closet, or I'm, just one small area
Right. So it sounds
that,
like, yeah, you're
that
giving
I can
yourself the
deal with,
grace
right?
to, yeah,
Bite
that's good.
size,
That's good stuff. I
bite
like
size.
that.
And when it gets to the place where, when you start working on it, and if it feels like it's too much, then do what you can do. When you get to the place where it's like, okay, I'm overwhelmed, it's too much, then stop.
And
Even you
stop.
might even set a timer and say, I'm going to spend 15 minutes, right? But
Ooh,
whatever it is,
yes.
break it down into bite-sized pieces, instead of trying to look at the big, huge elephant that you've got to tackle.
I so heard that. I think what's becoming in this conversation, let us know in the comments that this is very helpful. And did you find this to be beneficial? Because I did. Being mindful and being present has been something that I've been incorporating on my day-to-day walk, and becoming more self-aware of who I am and how I'm becoming. And most importantly, how you are interacting and engaging and putting this to work, making this a routine when it comes to being present, and oftentimes shifting your negative thoughts to observing and then being mindful of what your thoughts are. Because, oh my gosh, if you let that engine run by itself at times, and then at the end of the day, you're wondering, what did I do today? that's something that you want to be able to kind of set aside, looking outside of self and then digging in. And I love that you're saying, how do you do positive affirmations? Let us know if you find doing mindfulness and meditation to be an area of a challenge, because some people may not like journaling. Some people don't know how to, not just don't know, just sitting still can be a very, very, how do I want to describe it? An area where 2 minutes may feel like 30 minutes, just being still and just being in complete silence.
Yeah.
Complete silence. How do you sit still? This is a technique and a practice that does develop within time. And then you're now creating meaningful affirmations where you add maybe an I am statement. I love I am statements because now you're addressing the I am to positioning yourself and having some self-talk to each other. I do a lot of audio. That also helps you with your communication and how you hear yourself talk out loud. Some people say, I'm not the type to do presentations. I'm not the one who likes to be in the center of maybe keynoting or directing a team of other leaders. I'm the one that likes to be behind the scene. What is behind the scene? How is that working for you when it comes to self-reflection, when it comes to doing affirming positive techniques within yourself? So sometimes taking a moment and affirming to yourself is going to give you an opportunity to help shift, number one, your mindset, and how to what reduce anxiety, because we still live in a day and time where a lot of things are still like walking on eggshells. Let us know in the comments, is your day in a, are you walking every day in the park like mindset where you're flowing and just free and light, or how do you want to be able to walk in a light blissful mindset although everything around you may be chaotic, and maybe champion or not champion, but being inserting certain crises and incidents, but you don't want to just throw in the towel. How do you still be able to navigate that? What else can be a way where you're wanting to start maintaining this composure and also still level in a way to be grateful that at least I'm still here. So, what ways can I sustain my health and not be impacted by this?
Yeah, I would say, and we've got a ton more. So I think that in the interest of time, we can come back next week and really do a deep dive into the techniques that we have for maintaining composure. But I definitely would like to. I don't want to close out this episode without talking about the importance of prioritizing your self care.
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's
Yes.
important to ensure that you are taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional well-being,
I agree.
because when you take care of yourself, it basically creates this foundation for resilience, right?
Mm,
If you aren't well, then anything you build on you is going to be rocky. It's going to be shaky. And so,
exactly. Right.
when you are really serious about making sure that you come first, that you're taking care of you first, then
Yes.
that's going to give you a lot more strength. It's going to give you a lot more endurance and really enable you to be more resilient in the face of these challenges.
I couldn't agree with
So,
you more.
so you want to do things like establishing some very consistent sleep patterns. Sleep is
Sweetie.
crucial to
Yes.
our overall health and well-being. And
Exactly.
when we don't get the sleep, then that restorative sleep, our body can't renew, refresh, rejuvenate in the way
Yes.
that it needs to. And so then we're operating at a deficit. And I believe the
That's
statistic is
huge.
for every hour of sleep you miss, it takes a day for you to recover.
Does it really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I believe it's been a while
Oh
since I looked
wow.
at a statistic, but I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. For every hour, you need a day to recover.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then engage in exercise, right?
Mm,
Do
mm,
some
mm.
sort of physical activity on a daily basis, even if it's just like a really short walk or some
Yeah.
stretching, some yoga, something that you're doing to move your
Yes.
body, get your muscles active, use your joints, do
Yeah.
things to get the blood flowing through your
Get
body
it
so that
flowing.
your muscles and don't atrophy and your joints don't stiffen. You want to make sure you're eating right?
Oh
Eating
my goodness.
a healthy and balanced diet. You don't want to just be eating watermelon every day, right?
I like
All
that
day,
you
every
say
day, right?
that.
You need
Eating
a
healthy.
balance, right? You need a
Yes.
balance of food so that you can get the
Yes.
nutrients in your body and to the cells so that it can do the, because we don't want shriveled up cells, right? That also means making sure you're drinking your water. And then finally, take breaks. I know it's easy to kind of get in the zone, get into the flow, and
Yes.
not want to break away. But those breaks are going to help you to. And I think
I
I
love
talked
that
about
you
this on
say
a
that.
podcast episode before about how
Yeah.
the two different brain modes, right? So breaks are going to really help you to process things that you've worked on and kind of do like a reset or a reboot. And so it's going
Yeah.
to help you to recharge your energy, even if it's just for 5 minutes.
Even though.
Yeah.
I love it. I love how you say it so well. And I hope you all let us know that you're getting this to where it's bringing you closer and closer on how to maintain a very sustainable way and walk when it comes to going through the crisis, going through the obstacles and overcoming some of the incidents that you didn't even sign up for, but evidently it's part of your journey, it's part of your situation. And now you're wanting to access to do some, you're telling me that I need to do some deep breathing. I need to be more intentional and be more mindful and do some meditation. Some people say, well, I don't want to do all that. Well, maybe you're really great at wanting consistency of doing positive affirmations, visualizations, like Trisetta mentioned, and she said it so well. Taking breaks, because our brain is set up in two different ways, and you want to make sure you're resetting and recharging and regrouping. So we kind of touched quite a bit here. If you're just coming in and you're wondering what are these two light beings in my newsfeed is talking about, as a recap, we just shared with you on Rising Strong, what ways can you navigate and then maintain a certain value of confidence in you so that you don't lose sight, and then still be able to sustain and also build resilience while you're going through these certain situations. And how do you navigate through that? We talked about how to handle unexpected challenges, whether it be at work, whether it be in your home, your life, or even any other arena that's related to that, your business, how to be able to maintain and even shift your mindset. Our brain is the most oldest part of the oldest organ in our body. And the question you want to ask yourself is, do you have the proper strategies? How to prepare? How to give yourself the opportunity to say, you know what, I'm going to take action today. I'm going to go ahead and start adapting a new way of resilience so I can maintain composure. Although we didn't go through a lot of this, we did talk about building practice when it comes to resilience, because oftentimes that word has been inserted all over the platforms and people are like, oh, what is it? What is it? You may want to go back. I challenge you. We broke down the word resilience and what ways can you and weave it into your day to day and make it a practice, make it a routine, make it part of your lifestyle, make it part of who you are, who you want to become. And let us know in the comments if this is something that has been exponentially helpful for you all. Do you see this giving you the opportunity to start breaking boundaries and really elevating your confidence while you're channeling and going through this vehicle of life and having to be able to have the resilience and saying, I am so ever grateful that I'm still here. There is still light after this. There is still a bright side after this. I can finally discover who I am in this journey. So let us know. It's been always, always, always a journey to share with you all and then meet you all in the comments. So definitely take time and instill with us what has been some of the top two takeaways that you've been able to instill within our time together. Otherwise, continue having an amazing day and let's continue to breaking boundaries. Share, like, and follow us. If you haven't yet, why not? Continue to allow yourself the opportunity to learn and grow and find out ways to discover your life and your business and how to balance out your career all at the same journey. Until next time, everyone.
Bye for now.
Join and subscribe with career strategist Ruth McCrackin and business strategist Trisetta Washington to the Breaking Boundaries podcast each week. You too can experience the limitless potential of rewriting rules and creating an extraordinary